Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day taking another look here at Chainlink, seeing what's going on here. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the elephant in the room where we could actually see a potential higher price point there at 1.618, fib about $17.10. I'm not sure that's a probability until we can establish higher highs and higher lows and break through some key level resistances. Talk about that here in a minute, but first things first, we need to look at some backend data to quickly recognize a few key factors here. And if we take a look at this, we are looking at significant amount of liquidation data. In other words, $14.25. This is still the same as before, same as last night, but we are looking at a pretty heavy amount of concentration there at that level. Secondary, of course, 16.5. I don't think that's a big deal. So you got to keep in mind when you have a lot of liquidity below the price action, that's just kind of acting like a magnet. While it is a support in a sense, because a lot of people put their liquidation levels at support levels, it doesn't mean that the price isn't going to hit that level. It just implies that it could bounce off that level after sweeping that liquidity. Okay, so again, a lot of little schools of thought you can kind of think about, but right now Chainlink is still looking like it's more likely to go down than up. But again, we got this parallel highs here. We're going to see what that looks like. Quick little note here I want to talk about because this is fantastic. We took a nice 61% from Chainlink here recently. Of course, XRP, Bitcoin, EDU, OGN, audio, 202%, Gala 58, OGN 43, near 100%. Oh man, just getting tired of talking about all this profit. It's crazy. So again, congrats to our community members. Thanks again for the wonderful feedback. If you want to be part of something bigger, jump on over to cryptocash.tech. That is my my site where I provide you with trading academy videos, of course, more important, teaching you how to trade. Then obviously you get the benefit of the signals too. We do have a limitation on how many members are going to be allowing here soon. So please, 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 just know I told you so. All right. Because I got a lot of people like, should I, shouldn't I? Everyone else that has is like, I'm so glad. Anyways, I'm just really cool to be able to, I'm really grateful to be able to work with some cool members. Really got some awesome, great community members. So I'm super thankful for that. Really appreciate it. All right. So do me a favor before we get any further in the video, just simply hit that like button. Greatly appreciate it. Really helps grow the channel. All right, folks. Last but not least here, daily time frame, or actually this is the primary thing we want to look at. In other words, we're ascending positively with this trend line that is not exactly concurrent with the 20-day SMA, but it's still parallel in a sense because we're above the 20-day SMA. So that's still a supporting factor. We've got a fair value gap here that's been mostly filled down as low as $15. The RSI and everything else is looking pretty decent. MACD is converging, diverging. It's not really sure what it wants to do. When it squeezes like this, we're expecting a bigger move. A lot of times Bollinger Bands and certain indicators, when they get kind of compressed, you can expect a large breakout. We've also got a double doji candle here that originated from the upside, believe it or not, because it came from up here. That does imply the price should continue lower, but it also tells us we have a lot of indecision in the last 24 hours, actually more so 48. Okay? So hypothetically, price could go up just as well as it could go down. We want to look at smaller time frames to identify what possibly might happen next. So I like to look at some of these things here. This is my favorite time frame if you're not familiar. Obviously, if you've heard this before, if you've seen my channel, what I'm getting at here is that we are closer to 50 on the RSI with money flow index being low. Now, we didn't exactly bounce off 50, but that's not exact science. So right now we are slightly more bullish than bearish in the 4-hour time frame. So different scenario altogether today than we were yesterday. Okay. Now again, things can change. You got to quickly understand that, especially when Bitcoin hits 44,000 up from 42.4. Big difference there, right? That makes a difference. That's pushing the price action higher. Keep in mind, Blink is not doing as well as it should considering how high Bitcoin is. And with that Bitcoin dominance being extremely high and the price of Bitcoin stabilizing, that leads me to believe we might see some alts suffer, and this could be one of them. Anyways, we have a MACD convergence on the horizon. We've got a few, probably another day or two at least before that happens. Nothing set in stone there. So what we're seeing here is a lot of conflicting interests. We got the 20-day SMA working as a resistance level. We got this, what is it, the 0.786 fib here working as a resistance level as well. All the more likelihood the price action may pull back to this lower fair value gap. That said, though, there's not a lot of confirmation that the price even will do that because we got some nice support levels running concurrent with the ascending trend. So those are both conflicting things and situations in which I choose not to take a trade. Okay, so again, one of those situations where I don't really love that. Oh, it looks like we just got a notification here. What is this? Oh, here you go. Crowcoin. Nice. Just took some profit there from our trade from yesterday. So Crow's doing well. Chainlink is on the horizon. We actually have a short open with Chainlink, full disclosure. Let's take a look at the hourly, though, and quickly note kind of where we're at here. So let's see if there's any reason to consider a short or to leave the position open. So quickly to note, moving averages were just above all three, which is positive. So that's a good sign there. We can see we're at a 6 right now, but we're rejecting tentatively off this 1580 mark, and we are establishing lower lows and lower highs. Okay? So until we can establish a higher high or a higher low, we have no reason to want to continue taking this trade. You could also argue that we have a nice little channel here, and this is something to recognize too. A lot of times when the price comes up like this, it will break out to the upside. Okay? So there's that. But again, this is a smaller time frame, and to me, smaller time frames I use less often when it comes to chart patterns. So again, the less valid, smaller time frame you go. The last thing I want to look at is Ichimoku cloud. This is what's interesting here, because yesterday we were firmly below the cloud. Conversion line was below the baseline. Now we have kind of almost an inverse here. However, we haven't closed above the cloud. So again, false positive here. Do not trade like that. Do not trade as soon as it breaks above, because it's not a guarantee. Conversion line is intersecting with the price action, and the lagging span is within the price. So there's really no reason to take a trade here. We have 0 out of 3 confirmationals to letting us know that a long position is viable. Okay? While we have 1 or 2 out of 3 indications to close a short position, which might be advantageous if you're considering that, if you have a short position open with me, then maybe consider closing it or potentially just adjusting your stop losses. I feel confident that the price will pull back from Chainlink, because we still see a lot of conflicting information on the 4-hour. Until we see more consistency on the 4-hour, I'm not going to be convinced that we need to consider consider closing our short or opening a long. There's nothing here telling us that long is viable on the hourly. And this is my confirmational time frame. So what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen next? These are my 2 cents. What are yours? Like the video if you could, please, before we go. One more thing that's extremely important to recognize, because a lot of exchanges are requiring VPNs now, specifically BingX. That's one of our primary affiliates. We recently partnered with Bitunix because they don't have that requirement. No KYC, no VPN. They're a phenomenal exchange. Get some significant benefit rewards if you use my link to register. I also have an instructional video down below as well if you're curious how to use it. So make sure you take advantage of that exclusive offer. Awesome stuff there. And again, thanks again to my community members for just being fantastic parts of my life. This is really, really cool. I love being able to work with you guys. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.